This time on the Families Matter Most podcast.
It may not be true. Maybe my life isn't terrible right now, but it feels like it is. At this moment in time, it feels like my life is absolute crap. If you feel like, okay, this isn't just a bad day. You know, I've been really struggling. I've been feeling burdened and overwhelmed, and I'm just kind of treading water in my life, and I feel defeated, and it feels kind of hopeless. Maybe it's time to talk to someone.
Every time Jen Dean speaks, I can see hope, knowledge, expertise, wisdom, and love.
When Jen Dean speaks about parenting, we make sure that we are there to listen because we know we will get valuable advice.
Families Matter Most with Jen Dean.
She doesn't just give skills for us to be better parents, but she teaches us how to reach our children's hearts. And at the end of the day, that's what truly matters.
Today, I want to talk to you about crap. I want to talk to you about life, when life is absolute garbage. I work with some teens, and I think we can relate to this. Teens are super expressive, right? And they'll say things that maybe we're thinking, but they say it, you know, in a big way. And what is it? One teen I know says, "My life is absolute dog water." That's what they'll say. Maybe you can relate to that. I want to share a couple of things that I've learned over my years, a couple of tools that have helped people kind of process and deal with the crap in life. And sure, we can say, you know, it's not as bad as you think and cheer up and just don't think about it. But you and I know that has never helped anybody. That doesn't help people deal with negativity. I think the first thing is accepting it, accepting that whether you agree or not, they think their life is garbage. They think there's nothing good happening in their life right now. And you can try and pep talk them out of it, but I think all that does is encourage our kids not to talk to us because they don't want a pep talk. Do you want a pep talk? When you tell someone your life is so awful, do you want them to say, no, it isn't? What is it that you want when you're upset? And maybe you can relate to this. Would you say your life is kind of crappy right now? Nothing is going right. None of your goals are coming to fruition. Your kids don't listen to you. Your marriage is in the toilet. Your career is tanked. Maybe you're staying at home and you feel like this is it. Is this all I have? Is just toddlers and diapers and cooking and cleaning every day for the rest of my life? Is that how it feels for you? I can relate. I can relate to that. For a long time, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I loved staying at home. I don't regret it for a second, but I can remember some days where I would just think, wow, my life is just cleaning repeatedly and cooking and emptying dishwashers and changing diapers and dealing with poop and crying kids and fighting kids and screaming kids and not sleeping kids. And it just got overwhelming. Maybe you can relate to that. Maybe you can relate to the struggle of trying to be present everywhere all the time, being there for your kids, also doing good at, a career. Maybe you have some goals, or you're thinking about going back to school, or you're in school and you're trying to be perfect at everything at the same time. Yeah, that's kind of overwhelming, isn't it? Our kids feel that way too. They feel like they have to be good at everything all the time. They need to be good at sports, and they need to be good at school, and they need to be good at home, and they want to be a good friend. It's overwhelming. The first part, number one, accept. Accept that this is hard. Accept that we're not in a good place right now. I think sometimes instead of fighting these emotions, what if you just exhaled and just stopped and just said, you know what? It may not be true. Maybe my life isn't terrible right now, but it feels like it is. At this moment in time, I feel defeated. I feel hopeless. I feel helpless. I feel like it's never going to get better. It feels like my life is absolute crap. Accept that. What is that like, to sit in it for a minute, to stop fighting it, to acknowledge this is how it feels right now, whether it's true or not, this is how it feels. Let's accept that. And instead of trying to fight against it, instead of trying to defend and convince our kids that, they have so much, or getting angry at them for being upset, what if we just stopped and said, okay, you feel that way. True or not, you feel that way. Let's accept that's how you feel. Maybe there's things about your life you can't change. Maybe legitimately there are things in your life that makes it a really hard season. If you've got, let's say, twins who are teething, yeah, let's accept that this is a hard stage. This is a hard time in your life right now. Why are we fighting this? Why are we pretending like everything should be just fine? You should love every moment of motherhood. No, this is a really hard season. Let's just accept the truth. This is a tough season. Yeah, it will pass, but for now, this is really hard. There's something so powerful about accepting what is, accepting that this is how it feels for you right now. So that's the first thing. Stop fighting it. Take a breath and acknowledge, yeah, this is really hard. These facts, these are these things in my life right now that are really hard. Or whether it's true or not, this is how it feels. This is how it feels for me right now. This is the place where you might stop fighting it and say, you know what? I need to make an appointment with a doctor. I think I need some help. I think when I was talking with a young adult and I could share with him, he was trying to be perfect at everything. He had to do really good at university, but he also had this side hustle he wanted to be good at. And he also really wanted to be a good friend. And he also had this hobby he really wanted to be good at. He had all these things that he wanted to be really good at the same time. And he was fighting all of it, and it wasn't working, and he was miserable. And as we talked, I just said, hey, maybe it doesn't have to be this hard. Maybe if you talked to a doctor, some medication might help. Truly. When we quit fighting ourselves and sit in it, maybe it's time to reach out, and maybe it's time to seek a healthcare professional. Maybe it's time to look for a psychologist or go see the doctor and talk to them and get some help. Maybe it's time to try, I don't know, acupuncture. Try something, right? Maybe it's time. If maybe you think, no, I don't think I need a doctor, but I think I need a life coach, then yes, book a session with me. Let's have a free strategy call and I can help you to determine, is this something that I can help you with? Or do you need to go see a doctor or both? I can help with that. But that's the first one. We're spending a lot of time here because nothing else will work until you accept. Accept. This is what it is. I want to say it is what it is, but I know some people hate that. Some people hate that. I read an article that said it's one of the most annoying phrases. People that hate it, they really hate it. So I'm trying not to say it, but clearly I have said it a lot. So I'm working on it. Okay, the next part, after you've accepted and acknowledged and you're sitting in it and you're not fighting it anymore and you're just saying, hey, this is where I'm at. What if you changed your goals? Part of the problem when I was working with that young adult is he had all of these goals, and when life got harder, he didn't change the goals. He still tried to be perfect at everything, and then of course it was just more to fail at. It was more for him to be critical and harsh with himself at, instead of, I don't know, maybe changing the goals. If you're a mom of twin babies who are teething, you need to change your goals. Right? You need to say, okay, for this season, I'm not going to do Pinterest birthday cakes. No, for this season, I'm going to step back from my side hustle. For this season, maybe I'm going to try and spend more time at home, or I'm going to try and get out more and do more things for myself. Like, change your goals. Whatever it is you held yourself to before, when you're in a tough season, for whatever reason, you need to stop and say, okay, what would be reasonable? What's the bare minimum that I can do, that I can hold myself to as a goal? And for a mom with teething twins, it might be brush your teeth. Like, if I can just brush my teeth and get a shower in, that's a goal. If we can eat a vegetable, that's a goal, right? Change your goals to reflect where you're at. And it doesn't mean failure. It doesn't mean that you've given up. It means you're being realistic for this season. So what is a win? Get yourself on a different track so you're not holding yourself to this super high level of success when it's not feasible for right now. And that leads me to the next point, which is plan to live to 80. Someone told me this and it changed my life, because I used to do this. I used to hold myself. I have to be perfect at all of these things all at the same time. And if I mess up in one of them, then I'm a failure. Can you relate to that? This person said, Jen, plan to live to be 80. That means you've got years to achieve these goals. You've got dreams in your heart. You've got missions. You've got things you want to do in your life, and you don't have to do them all right now. In fact, she said, it will be way more fun if you do them one at a time. Way more fun. You're going to plan to live to 80. So you've got years and years and years. So what if you do one of them at a time and enjoy it? Have fun with it. Do it really well. And then when that's done, you can look at picking another goal. It doesn't mean failure. Because you have these dreams in your heart doesn't mean they all have to happen right now at this moment. It means they're in your heart and you're planning to live to 80. So you've got time to accomplish them. That was so freeing for me. And I hope this helps you. As you're changing your goals, it's for a season. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It doesn't mean you're giving up on yourself or your goals. It means for right now, this isn't going to work, but I'm going to keep it here. And when the time is right, it will work. I've been building this family coaching business for 20 years. 20 years. Yeah. I'm 47. So I would say I started, I was probably, I don't even know, 15 years for sure. I'll say 15 years to be safe. I went and got training. I started teaching parenting things. And I had this dream in my heart. In those days, I was just volunteering. I was just sharing in churches or moms groups or community centers, anywhere that I could. This was before I was active on social media. I didn't really know how to do any of that. It was super scary for me. There was no podcast. It was just me trying to reach out and help other moms. That's all it was. And kind of in my heart, I thought, it would be so cool if I could do this for a job and actually get paid for it and be able to help, support my family one day. And look at this, like little by little, it's worked. And I'll admit, I used to be jealous, super jealous of people that seemed to have success more quickly. I would say that definitely there are people that have become quite famous and man, their speaking fees are off the charts and they have seemed to gone places that I've never been to that would be really cool. And they did it very quickly. And I was so jealous. But I have to remind myself, you know what? I'm going at a slower pace and I'm okay to do that because I have other things. I have a radio show that I love doing with my husband. I love spending time with my kids. I got to homeschool my kids, which I love. I adored being home with them. And I feel like I was able to reach some goals without sacrificing those areas. So am I okay to go at a slower pace? Yes, I am. Because I'm planning to live to be 80. So it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to do it slower. I'm going to get to wherever I need to get to. And I'm so grateful that I get to live my life having a career helping parents. I can make enough money doing this that I can actually do what I love and bring in an income. My fear was that I'd have to do something else to bring in an income and then I wouldn't have the time to reach out to parents, but I get to do both. So I've learned to accept it, to change my goals, to readjust, and to recognize that I'm going to live to 80. So I can do these things one at a time or by small increments, and that's okay with me. Number 4 is change your environment. When I am feeling like my life is terrible, like nothing's working, like the young adult says, when my life is dog water, I've learned to change my environment. I need to get up and do something else. If I am in isolation, I need to get out and be around people. If I'm around negative people, I need to not be around negative people. I've learned for me, I need a little bit of adventure. I need to go and do something. And usually for me, it can be something new, something challenging. I can go rock climbing. I can go cross-country skiing. But sometimes I can get in my thoughts too much. So I can, go and do something fun. I can go for coffee and talk to someone, someone positive in my life. All of these have been helpful. So sometimes just changing your environment. The problem is when you're in a real low, it all feels like work. It feels like too much work to reach out. It feels like too hard to text someone and see if you can give them a call or meet them somewhere or do something fun. It just seems too difficult to plan an adventure when you're in a low. So what if you be proactive? What if you have a friend that you talk to and say, hey, when I'm feeling super low, I know I need to be around people, but it just seems too hard. I'm in isolation and it just seems too hard to reach out. If I'm in a place like that, can I text you and will you help me? Will you help me to, even if it's you organizing something fun to hang out with friends, or even if it's you saying, hey, when can we set up a coffee date, or when can we talk on the phone, and vice versa. Maybe that person could return, they could also have it in return where they might say, okay, I'm feeling really low. And you could say, okay, perfect. Let's set up something fun. Thanks for reaching out. I'm going to be on it. Someone that could help you, because I know when I am in a low, that's when I don't reach out. That's when I go dark. My friend says I've gone quiet. My friend Karen says when I go quiet is when she knows to reach out and check in on me, because it usually means I'm isolating and I'm not in a good place. And so it'd be really nice if you could have a friend like that. If you don't, then you can talk to someone and let them know this is kind of how you are, and could you guys work together to help each other out? I'm guessing that other people are like this too, and you guys could kind of tag team and help each other. Another solution is if you recognize this pattern, that this is happening every couple of weeks, then maybe you need to start a regular get together. Like, hey, every second Thursday, me and a friend go out for coffee, or once a month, a group of us get together for board games or something. If this is a pattern, maybe you need to do a regular something to keep that cup full so you don't get so depleted and go into isolation. The last thing I want to talk to you about is depression therapy. If you feel like, okay, this isn't just a bad day, I've been really struggling. I've been feeling burdened and overwhelmed, and I'm just kind of treading water in my life, and I feel defeated and it feels kind of hopeless. Maybe it's time to talk to someone. The good news is, of course, I always recommend going to see a counselor, psychologist. You can talk to me. Sometimes that is helpful, but I do want to encourage you, talking to someone is a good thing. Talking to a friend is a good thing. A pastor, a coach, someone in your life who you think you have a connection with that would be good to talk to. It is helpful. They did this study in depression therapy where they asked people not even to talk about solutions, but just to talk about where they think their depression was coming from. And fascinating, the people that talked about and tried to explain where they thought their depression was coming from, they actually felt better. It helped. They didn't even get solutions. They didn't even get strategies. They didn't take medication. They just talked about what they thought might be causing the depression, and it helped the symptoms. They felt less depressed. They did another study where they asked people to journal about their feelings. They asked some people to write down their life story and key moments in their life, good or bad, that kind of made up who they are now. And interestingly, every single study that's ever been done, asking people to journal or write down what they were thinking or feeling about their life, it improved the symptoms, which is interesting because you would think just talking or writing about everything that's wrong with your life, you would think, that would just encourage more negativity. But there's something about having to form sentences. There's something about saying it out loud. There's something about writing it down. It forces you to take one sentence at a time and to slow down kind of that churning pile of thoughts and feelings in your head. It forces you to slow it down, to take one sentence at a time, to put it to paper or to form a sentence and say it out loud. And that helps to slow it, to reduce it, and to start processing some of these feelings. So fascinating. So, no matter what, whether you decide to book a call with me and have coaching, or you decide to go to a medical professional and get some help, or you decide to go see a doctor, or a combination of all of them, I would definitely recommend journaling it out. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? How bad is it? Think about it. Write it down. What's going on? Every single study that's been done has found that this is helpful, that it reduces those negative feelings. It reduces that feeling that everything in my life is awful and it's so crappy. Counterintuitive, I know. It feels like you're just going to wallow in it, but in actual fact, it helps to improve your feelings. So I would love for you to try it out. Talk to a real person. This is not, do not post on social media. It has to be a real person that you can look into their eyes and you can get feedback from them. You cannot post on social media and just say, I'm really awful and this is my life and it's so terrible. That is not the same. It has to be real. So journal it out for yourself or talk to a real person or book a call with me. But go back to step one, accept that this is a hard season for you. And I'm here for you, and you're not alone. And we've been through hard seasons before, and we've come through it. You've been through hard things. You have overcome. You're still here. You will get through this. You just might need some help. And it's available to you. So book a call with me. I can help you figure out the next step. Have you done private coaching before? Check out some of the testimonials. Lots of people were nervous before starting, but guess what? It wasn't as scary as they thought, and I can help you to reach your goals faster. So if you want to make some real progress this year, then reach out. I can't wait to help you. And especially if you are in this dark place, I don't want you to do it alone. So decide, accept, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Families Matter Most podcast with Jen Dean, part of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. If you are interested in contacting Jen for one-on-one parent coaching, for speaking engagements, or just to get a little more information, please visit our website, familiesmattermost.com.